Tuesday, March 10th, 2020, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today I want to talk about central bankers and the big bad wolf. You might ask yourself, what has the big bad wolf got to do with central bankers? Well, you will see. I will also, of course, look at what the markets are doing this morning, briefly what they did yesterday, and some of the headlines that have come out overnight. So Billy's back today. He has a good work ethic, but sometimes he needs a break. He's getting a little older. He's going to be 12 this summer. So the three little pigs, that's where the big bad wolf comes from. I remember when I was a kid, it was one of my favorite stories. I read it to my daughter when she was a little girl. So it's a classic. So let's first read about the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. Well, according to Wikipedia, it's a fable about three pigs who build three houses of different materials. A big bad wolf blows down the first two pigs' houses made of straw and sticks. And this is where I want you to pay attention. Straws and sticks, right? Respectively. But is unable to destroy the third pig's house made of bricks. You probably know where I'm going with this. Some of you at least. Maybe not the new viewers, but you will see what I mean in a minute. Printed versions date back to the 1840s, but the story itself is thought to be much older. The phrases used in the story and the various morals drawn from it have become embedded in Western culture. Many versions of the Three Little Pigs have been recreated or have been modified over the years, sometimes making the wolf a kinder character. This is why the Federal Reserve comes in. So how come the central bankers are related to the big bad wolf? Well, I think they are the big bad wolf. They trying to push straws and sticks to the public. They're trying to tell the public to build their financial monetary houses on a foundation of straws and sticks. And that's what they're trying to do. But not only the central bankers, but our politicians. Yes, there's very few exceptions, like Steve Baker in the UK. He's an MP who believes in the foundation of bricks or sound money, gold and silver for the monetary system. Of course, there's Ron Paul in the United States. And right now, I don't see any politician calling for this. Not even President Trump. If anything, President Trump is working with the big bad wolf. Yes, some of you think he's got like some kind of cunning plan to kill, so to speak, kill the big bad wolf or the Federal Reserve and bring a foundation of bricks to the monetary system. The verdict is still out on that. And one of the reasons why I'm not convinced is because of the story or headline that we've seen overnight. FT is talking about how oil and stock futures rise after historic rout. This is what they say. Oil and U.S. stock futures rebounded on Tuesday after oil's biggest one-day fall since the 1991 Gulf War shook markets, already reeling from the sea disease crisis. U.S. stocks suffered their worst one-day fall since December 2008. Treasury yields plummeted to record lows on Monday. Energy stocks tumbled 20%. Financials dropped 11%. And junk bonds fell as the S&P 500 triggered a circuit breaker after opening. The Federal Reserve responded by adding $50 billion of liquidity to overnight lending. Well, I think it was more like 115 billion. I think the FT has it wrong. I saw the repo operation yesterday. But investors are confronting the alarming possibility of a wave of defaults. Well, you see, when you build the economy, the credit system the monetary system with straws and sticks. This is what you get. You get these catastrophic events. Yes, you will get problems under a sound money system, under a system of solid bricks of gold. But under that system, when there are disasters or what we're having now, the foundation is a lot more solid. Yes, there will be problems, but they won't be as devastating as if you have a house of straws or sticks, as we saw the little pigs that lived in the house of straws and sticks. Some versions say that they were eaten by the wolf. Some versions say that they had to run away to their sisters and other brothers. But that's what happens. And we keep repeating the same mistakes. We haven't learned the lesson. And I would say the central bankers right now, they're seen as like a nice wolf. They're here to help us, to support the system. But I would say they're far from that. They are the really big bad wolf, and they're looking to devour the whole middle class and its wealth for whoever their masters are. So I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust any politician who says that they will solve a problem of straws and sticks or too much debt and credit with more straws and sticks. They're just trying to make you more and more vulnerable to the big bad wolf, to the central banking system, to this fiat based monetary system. So the FT is saying that President Trump has promised a major economic relief package to reduce the negative impact of the health crisis, including a possible payroll tax cut. Well, that sounds good, a tax cut, correct? But in the last few years, we've had tax cuts, but the government hasn't shrunk. So we've had huge deficits, and we're going to continue to have more and more deficits, more debt. Yes, we're trying to solve a debt problem with more debt, with more straws and sticks. So yes, don't get caught in the house of straws or sticks. Make sure your house has a foundation of bricks. And by that, of course, I mean your financial, monetary house. Make sure you have some precious metals bricks, gold and silver, because the central bankers, they don't want you to have the bricks. They keep the bricks, of course, for them. Why do they keep the bricks? Because they know that deep down that a foundation of straws and sticks are not, they're not stable, correct? So the market, of course, this morning has reacted positively or overnight to the promise of more and more debt to solve a debt problem. Do I think it's going to work? Maybe temporarily, medium to long term. I don't think it will work. I think, yes, it looks like this crisis is getting worse in some countries, but it seems to be abating in Asia. So hopefully it will be over soon. But I think the psychological impact on the consumer, on people's psychology of consumption, of traveling, of economic action is going to be profound. And I don't think more and more debt is going to solve the problem. I noticed yesterday that the stock market got very near minus 20% from the top. So all these people are concerned is that the stock market don't go into a bear market. That's what President Trump and his advisors and the Fed are concerned about. Anyway, we don't really have a free market, as we can see. When government has to intervene in the markets, it's not a free market anymore. And President Trump has shown that he's no different than President Obama, President Bush, and all those presidents before him. So yesterday was another historic day, so to speak. We saw the Dow drop just over 2,000 points. I know percentage-wise, it's not the biggest drop, but it was the second biggest drop since 1987. The Dow dropped 7.8%. S&P dropped 7.6, NASDAQ 7.2, and the rest of Europe as well dropped massively. We are seeing also the banking sector under pressure, energy sector, the whole, every sector really under pressure. So this morning, with this promise of more debt to solve a debt problem, more straws and sticks, we've seen the Dow future be up as much as just under 1,000 points. Right now, it's 7:51 a.m. London. And again, just to remind you, we're only 4 hours ahead from Eastern time at the moment. Futures right now, Dow futures is up 635 points or 2.7% at 24,480. S&P 500 up almost 3% at 2819. NASDAQ 100 future up 3% at 8177. What about our bricks? How are they doing? While the gold brick is down 1% at 1663, it's been as low as 1649, and the high has been 1681. I'm holding on to my bricks. I don't do straws and sticks. The silver brick is up 8 cents or 0.5% at 1708. High has been 1719, the low 1681. What about the foreign straws and sticks or the foreign exchange market? Sterling is down 0.5%. We're seeing the dollar rebound with the news of stimulus from President Trump. Sterling is at 130.57. The euro is correcting lower. It's down 0.2%. And the dollar has rebounded quite a bit against the yen, but still relatively low compared to last week. We're up 1.5% at 103.88, and the dollar is unchanged against the yuan at 6.95. WTI crude is up almost 5%, still at relatively low levels, 32.85. The 10-year yield has risen, of course, with the talk of stimulus, more debt. The 10-year yield right now is up 15 basis points at 65 basis points. I think yesterday we got into the 30s. I think it was 35 or 36 basis points. The 30-year yield is up 15 basis points as well, back above 1% at 109. So where do I see the stock market going? I think we're still going to see a lot of volatility. I'm not convinced that yesterday was the short-term bottom. I thought a couple of weeks ago, after the huge drop in the last week of February, that we'd see a consolidation, that it would last a few weeks, but we didn't. We saw a big crash yesterday. So things are happening much faster here. And I have a feeling we haven't made a significant bottom yet in the market, or even long-term bottom. I think in 1929, when the market topped, it took about 6 weeks to 2 months for the Dow to drop 49%. Then it bottomed and it rose about 35 to 40%. And then it kept going lower, and eventually in the early 30s, the Dow was down as much, almost as much as 90%. So I think the drop to almost 20% yesterday is not the whole initial drop. Yes, we probably going to see a slight rebound here, but I think we're due bigger drops, and then we'll make a bottom. But the big bottom is still a long way away, in my opinion. So hold on to your bricks. Don't build your houses, financial houses, on foundations of sticks and straws, because you know what happened to the little pigs that did that. The big bad wolf or the central bankers got them. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Share this video far and wide. Think about subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, BitChute, Steemit, and DTube. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.